So you've decided to heal yourself using raw plant-based diet, and it's completely reasonable approach because raw diet is known for reversing, for suppressing, for completely annihilating, healing a lot of chronic diseases, most of them ailments that people tend to develop throughout their life. I'm not even saying adults or seniors or elderlies. I'm saying people because even children, modern children, are very susceptible to developing those things. And the blame is, of course, Western diet and lifestyle. So, while it's completely reasonable to switch to raw diet for healing and expect good outcomes, the question is it enough to just follow raw diet for healing? And the answer is not. And we can approach this question from two facets. One facet is that raw diet is an integral part of naturalistic lifestyle approach, which is based on, like, we observe what nature intended for us for living systems. We see that nature is self-healing system. When everything works in order, when everything performs in accordance to how it's intended by natural laws, we implement those laws, approach them to our life, and we try to maximize the amount of proper actions that we take, introduce them to our life. Another facet is if we look at the supplementary things that can aid in healing while we are on raw plant-based protocol. So let's look at the first thing. What are the constituents of health? Like, foundation of health sits on what? On which pillars? Of course, it is nutrition, as we discussed, but the one of the main things that determine the healthiness of an individual is their mental state. It's the state of mind and soul, whatever you want to call it, how you react, how you handle daily stimuli, situations, stressors, how much stress is in your life, how much stress you allow to damage yourself, how will you sleep, and so on. So those things that form our mental well-being are probably the most impactful for determining our health. The thing is that healthy mind is nearly impossible without proper nutrition. So this is this paradox of things being intertwined. We cannot separate the two. So when we talk about raw veganism and mindset, you cannot really become a raw vegan without mindset that allows you to step outside of dysfunctional system, rebel against the previous ways that are so perpetuated by the surrounding environment, and do your own thing because it just makes sense. So you need a certain mentality to begin with your journey. However, when you proceed with raw veganism, this diet actually can revolutionize your mental state, because simple thing is that instead of feeding pathogenic bacteria in your gut that is like breeds there just to help you break down the remnants of undigested protein clumps of whatever junk you put in your body, instead of that thing that secretes toxins as a result of their metabolism, you start breeding symbiotic flora that helps you to regulate your nervous system. So your baseline mood becomes better, your stability becomes better, your awareness grows because you're not as swayed by some uncomfortable responses, stressors. So you're less susceptible to those things. Anxiety level goes down as a result. Depression disappears as a result. Of course, given that you take other measures that I will be mentioning later in the video, and your sleep quality improves, and all those things as a feedback loop keep improving your physical state. Of course, another impactful thing is that you remove heavy metals from your system. You stop feeding yourself with accumulated pesticides, herbicides, whatever. So it's all systemically, it builds a very beautiful mindset. So you start perceiving life much differently. Another aspect of that is that when you start nourishing yourself with the attitude of caring for yourself, it gives you the fundamental self esteem because you demonstrate to your body, to your brain that, look, I care for myself, I matter, I'm worthy, and that stimulates you to do even better things and make choices that elevate your lifestyle and life quality. So this is very important. But again, it all ties back to the diet. First, you need an impulse of certain mentality to dare to approach this lifestyle, but then this lifestyle also starts working for you. But you need to be mindful about it. Mindset is the key. If you cannot remove stress from doing certain activities in your life, maybe you should think about whether those activities should be in your life in the first place. Because there are those slow and invisible killers, like when you're boiling a frog, gradually starting put her in cold water, and then you gradually increase the temperature. Frog will boil, because you can be at work that you're hating. You can be in the circumstance and relationships that you're hating. And those will be gradually from very comfortable state of drowning, they will be gradually killing you. So be mindful about those things because those are the scariest. If they're not everything can be healed with just diet alone. Some things just need to be surgically removed from your life before you embark on the journey of like beautiful healing and excelling in your mental state and clarity. Another thing besides mental state that you must maintain at a very positive, uplifted, life instilling fashion, you need movement. In fact, the observation that I have been making by working with middle aged people is that people who do sports diligently, who make sports a huge part of their life, they can get by really well up to the age of about 30, 35 with just fitness, eating junk. They can pump a bunch of sugar into their bodies. They can pump a bunch of foods that are not intended for our species, and they move. So until certain age, it kind of balances out in terms of not. I'm not talking about they're still more susceptible to developing certain like acute things, but they're less susceptible than other groups that don't prioritize fitness to chronic diseases, joint problems, and so on, cardiovascular problems. Those things just come to them later by several years because their sports activities help them to detoxify. They help them to improve blood vessel elasticity, to aid heart in pumping blood because our muscles are the organ that is intended to assist heart in pumping blood through our body. So they do all that stuff, which helps them to be afloat. But at some age, when they can no longer compensate for the harms and intoxicating matters that they put into themselves as a source of fuel, when sport becomes not enough, then we see huge deterioration. In fact, many sportsmen can eat junk. Those who train literally all day, they move all day, they sweat a lot, they pump their lymph a lot, they pump their blood a lot through their body. As soon as they quit on sports, it will be a just terrible crush in their health level. So if we see that for like in real life, we can see examples of how sports can extend the juvenile period for people. And with raw diet, it is really important to assist your body by moving a lot. Especially it is like catastrophically important if you do raw diet right now, if you started because you got scared about some health condition that you may have. So it is very, very important to move your body as much as possible because movement ensures that you have proper energy flow through your body, that you have lymph pumping through your body, detoxifying your organs, especially if you're only in the beginning of your journey. Sports must be something that you do fanatically almost. that you pump blood through your body, that you deliver all nutrition to your body, that sports also can help you with point number one, with your mental state, and so on and so forth. So sports is incredibly important. Movement, as much as you can, introduce natural movement into your life. Walk around, find the area where the air seems to be the cleanest. Some like forest, some field. Go and walk 10,000 steps a day. Then do stretches, do upper body workouts. Take care to move all limbs in order to detoxify to pump lymph through your lymph nodes. And this is probably another incredibly important factor. If you don't move, just go raw diet. Likely you won't see the shockingly good results. And if you are coming from very bad diet, straight to raw diet because of some health condition, then it's likely that detoxification symptoms may be very harsh. Movement helps to alleviate them because it opens up the routes of detoxification through your skin by sweating. They help to improve the peristaltics of the gut, and so they will push all the matter through all outlets of cleansing besides just GI tract that would be stimulated with increased intake of fiber. So it's really cool thing. However, with raw diet, what do we see? People who are currently battling certain thing, they're often discouraged from working out because their health condition is such that they have no free energy. Just go and move. They have shortness of breath. They feel sluggish, so it's really difficult for them. Their body is also stiff oftentimes. It's really difficult just to go and do fitness if there is some health condition. Raw diet helps you to decalcify soft tissues, making both blood vessels more permeable, more elastic, making your joints, ligaments more elastic, reducing the pain level from movement. It heals the inflammation if you have like inflammations in the joints and so on and so forth. It helps if you don't allow anemic states by having adequate levels of B12, of iron, by tailoring your diet properly. Then you won't have shortness of breath. Your body will literally crave movement because it will start having excess energy that you will be forced to spend somewhere. So raw diet with fitness also acts synergistically. It exists in symbiosis because while fitness allows you to reap all the benefits of the healing benefits of raw diet in turn allows you to more comfortably, naturally enter the world of sports and movement. This is a really beautiful relationship. You will notice how your fitness performance improves, how your recovery improves, how your body elasticity improves, how you want to move. It's really great and it's really encouraging. It's easy to make sports, movement, a part of your life when you are on a raw diet. So we already traced two synergistic phenomena that ensure your health along with raw diet. Let's move on to another incredibly important thing. Your health is impossible without creative realization. Creative realization implies that everybody is born with some purpose. And people nowadays have a huge opportunity with all the commodities that modern world allows. They have a huge opportunity to find their mission, whether it will be related to crafts, to service, to thinking, to anything, like all outlets. You can do anything you want. However, modern world in turn offers you lots of products of somebody else's creativity that you can use in similar fashion that people use porn. You watch somebody else's creative products, but you feel yourself with this energy of creativity, but you don't output anything. So it leads to your self esteem subconsciously being much lower because you watch someone creating, but you don't feel like you're performing this action. Creativity is incredibly fulfilling. That's literally, again, it's another law of nature. Nature is designed to create at all times. All those protein molecules that create all the living matter. It's a code of nature that is in us as well. So if we don't create, we lose this natural self-esteem. We lose our understanding for why we are even here. We even don't realize it. We don't perpetuate the idea of us being meaningful. And this leads to losing value into yourself. So you don't regard yourself as something valuable, and it launches a whole chain of events, thoughts, subconscious programming that essentially leads you to the path of self-destruction. And this is very sad and often overlooked phenomenon, because just read the story, whatever novelist it was, he was diagnosed with some terminal disease, and he started to spend his remaining months, he started writing a book. And as he was writing a book, as he was approaching finishing it, doctors checked on him. They realized that he no longer had the tumors or whatever it was. So it was a healing story of person through just building this self-esteem that translates to a cellular self-esteem through creativity, through doing something that we have in this encrypted talent in us. I don't believe that there are talentless people. I believe that everyone has a talent. It can be anything, but it must be realized, because if you don't realize, if something doesn't function in nature, nature eradicates it. It's efficient. So you need to internalize this idea and make sure to create. This is very important. With creativity too, raw diet can, again, boost your self-esteem on some biological level. And with that understanding and with extra energy that it supplies, with some movement towards healing that you acknowledge, you will start creating with much more vigor. Or your healing story can become your point of creativity as well. Whatever. There's so much we can really do in the world. So you never should settle for not creating and just become passive consumer of somebody else's creativity. So creative realization is one of the most important things for healing as well. Start now, start small, do actions, start beautifying environment around you, start beautifying yourself, whatever it can be. Start making music, start singing, dancing, start sharing it with others. And this is a very nice binder for the next aspect of health, of healing, is community. Community is incredibly important as well for humans. We're social creatures. We need to surround ourselves with people who are our mirrors. There will be mirrors that we don't like, indicating that there are features, traits in us that we need to work on. And there will be mirrors that will be reinforcing our love for life, for ourselves, for others, for our brother, for our sister entities. And so building a community, building relationships with people gives a sense of belonging, also boosts our confidence, improves our sense of presence, validates our life. Through other people, we can literally feel the validation of ourselves for our existence. So it's also an incredibly important thing. It reduces stress because you can always fall back on someone. You also feel that what you do, what you think may be impactful because people listen to it, people give their feedback on that. And so community relationships are also so diminished nowadays, and so many people actually struggle through to find people or even forget about how important it is. But in fact, communication, a heartfelt conversation with someone, spending time with friends, exchanging energy with someone is super important as well for all levels of our health and well-being. So I would really encourage you to find people, find joy in talking to people, and exercise stepping outside of your habitual life, let's say in solitude or with people who you don't necessarily like talking to. Find people who you would want to chat with, who you would want to communicate with, who resonate with the best aspirations that you have in you. And another thing regarding the community is that you can also approach it from the perspective of serving others, because service distracts you from your egotistical lack of self-esteem, because ego actually is the thing that blocks your natural fundamental self-esteem that enables you doing anything in life. Because ego is something that seeds doubts about your mission, about your value, and starts distracting you with some, I don't know, some systemic validation. Ego often likes to just cling to the system. So service, selfless service to someone, is one of the things that gives immense fulfillment as well. So whatever outlets you have, whatever you see, whenever you see somebody struggling with something that you have capacity to help with, go and do it. It's usually much easier than you think. It usually doesn't require as many resources as may appear at the first glance, but it's very rewarding and powerful for any individual living currently. So community and service are the things that also determine your health, because they help you to bypass doubts, lack of self-esteem, and so on. They just dissipate. They become so irrelevant for you. And yeah, now I covered all the naturalism aspects of health. In the beginning, I mentioned that there will be two blocks, so I would like to transition to the second block now. Is raw veganism enough? If we glance at it through a different lens, depending on what condition you're currently trying to heal, raw veganism is indeed a very strong foundation for healing. As I proved with how it can affect other aspects of your life, how it can fuel up your best actions, how it can fuel up totally new way of living. But in terms of the healing things, in terms of, let's say, in terms of how you could optimize your healing process, of course, raw vegan diet, depending on how you design it, may appear to not be enough. And here I would like to only encourage you to, of course, communicate with some doctor, perhaps holistic doctor, who will be able to help you navigate through some blood work that you may want to do. So I would like to encourage you to do that, to find potentially some hidden factors that influence your health at the moment, and absolutely look into alternative medicine tricks. And if it's something serious, be mindful that some things work best when you take advantage of both a conventional medicine approach and aid it with restoration of your health. Because some conditions are pretty harsh, and people, for example, cannot just take measures to improve their lifestyle and cope with something without any medications. I would encourage you to stick to some medications and use the alleviation of symptoms period in order to change your lifestyle that caused the disease in the first place. So that would be pretty wise. And then you will see, as your health will start improving, you will see that you no longer need those medications. So this is a pretty wise approach, very moderate, I would feel, because healing is never quick, especially if you'd spend decades building up to that point where you crashed with certain health condition. It is very important to be wise in that sense. And also, of course, one of the directions which you can look into and potentially talk to certain naturopaths, holistic doctors, or ordinary doctors, because oftentimes they are interested in alternative approaches. They have their like hobby fields of study. Ask them about fungotherapy, because mushrooms is a kingdom that, yes, in traditional medicines, like in Ayurvedic medicine particularly, they're regarded as things that absorb a bunch of bad things, so they're not advised to be consumed. But mushrooms, in turn, they can repair so many functions and even terminal diseases, or aid your body with on the process of taking certain medicines, help you detoxify, eliminate poor, like broken cells and tissues. So research that subject. I'm not an expert in fungotherapy, but I am interested and I'm studying the effects that mushrooms may have on the body. So taking certain functional supplements along the way on your healing may also be very important. You need to also be mindful about possible deficiencies that you may develop even buying produce from the store, because sometimes it's necessary that you start supplementing with different like wild greens, with some, I don't know, some functional powders and whatnot, with seaweed, of course. So I would really encourage you to look into that and do some regular blood works in order to determine whether you're getting sufficient nutrition, especially minerals and vitamins, into your diet. And I would also really like to encourage you to watch my video on nutritional breakdown of raw vegan diet, because this might be mind-blowing for some people. For some people might be neutral and not surprising at all. But please watch it. I will put the link in the description below. But yeah, to sum up, raw vegan diet is indeed a very powerful element to healthy lifestyle that influences every other element that forms our health, that forms the foundation for health. And at the same time, it is really important sometimes to exert some willpower to initiate the change. The same mentality that brought you to raw vegan lifestyle must be used to diversify your actions towards health, such as movement, such as mentality, such as community, such as creativity. Those things absolutely must be taken into account. And at the same time, I would like to encourage you to be wise on your path of healing and try to take the best out of both worlds of healing and heal your body, while not taking any reckless moves to, let's say, refuse certain treatments when situation is pretty serious and severe. So I would really love to encourage you to make decisions in a very weighted fashion. And remember that, yes, raw diet does heal the body. But everybody has their own threshold. Everybody has their own level of damage done to their body. And you need to really gauge whether it will work for you as a sole activity, or if you need to have some help, to receive some help. Because also, raw diet lifestyle, it may take you months to develop a working system. It may take you, some people, years to get comfortable with this lifestyle. If you do not have time, do something, do not wait, and take all necessary measures in order to contain the condition that you developed by years of inappropriate lifestyle. And remember, your body wants to be healthy, it wants to live, it wants to thrive. Nature gave you all tools to do all of those things. So the only thing that is up to you is to choose to take actions to help your body in healing, living, and thriving. Take action and enjoy the results, because you will be observing a real fundamental healing process. And here I would like to conclude my video. And I wish you all the best, good luck, positivity, optimism, bright outlook on life, and unconditional self confidence.